Hi friends, welcome back to Farm Girl Diaries. My name is Caitlin and we are at the first garden tour of the season. I am so excited to shoot this garden tour with you. It is the first weekend of May. It's Mother's Day weekend. It's Thursday of Mother's Day weekend. And there is so much life happening in the garden. And there's so much life happening in the garden and around the property. So I want to show you everything that's growing, and then we can go together along this gardening journey this year, and you can see all the things as they grow with me. So thank you guys for joining me, and come along and let's see what's happening in the garden. So our broccoli is doing fantastic. This is a crop that I didn't have last year because I lost it to slugs. And so I was very concerned that I wasn't going to have my brassica crop this year. And that's not the case, at least so far, knock on wood. And I'm going to bring you down and show you these broccolis even have broccoli heads on them. So we are going to have broccoli soon, and I am so excited. So this bed does need weeded. Right off the bat, I want to put this out there. I watch all of the other gardening YouTubes. I watch the people that their full-time job is to garden or homestead or be a parent, stay at home, do your own homestead kind of job. And that is my dream job. Unfortunately, we're not there yet. So I have a full-time job, and unfortunately, I work 9-hour days. And the evenings are short. I come home, I have to do a couple of chores with the animals, my normal daily chores around the house, and I don't get a lot of time out in the garden. And right now it's spring, everything's growing. And the last couple of weeks, or the last couple of days, we've had a lot of rain. I think one day alone, within like an hour, we had 1.5 inches of rain. So while my plants are doing great, so are the weeds. So I just spent a solid half an hour pulling weeds. It actually looks a lot better. So I'm going to say that right off the bat. This bed needs weeded. It's on my list. I can't do it all at once. So this is a realistic garden tour if your full-time job is not to garden. If you do other things at all, you're most likely going to have weeds like me, and we don't judge. I do want to say, and I say this the past 2 years, I'm going to say it again this year, when I built this garden, I had a ton of weeds. Now, I do have a lot of thistle. I'm not going to deny that thistle is my biggest problem. I have resorted to spraying, and I already sprayed once this year. I don't know if I'm going to spray again this year or not because I have a lot of plants in the ground. I don't know if I want to do that. But at least at the end of the season, once I start pulling plants out, I'm going to have to spray again. Spraying last year, I think, did help with the thistle. It's not as prevalent as it was 2 years ago before I started spraying, but I feel like I'm not losing the battle anymore, but I'm 100% not winning it. If anything, we are just staying even. So I have a lot of thistle. We ignore that the best that we can. Oh, there is a pretty yellow bird behind you. See if I can turn you around and oh wait, hold on. See if I can turn around and show you. It's really pretty. I don't know. Oh, okay, it's gone. Well, it's over there, but you can't see that. Distracted by birds. Sorry. So other than thistle, I do have a lot of red dead nettle. I have dandelions. I don't consider them weeds. They do make the space look messy. I do like a clean, organized garden space. They do make it look messy. However, the bunny eats the red dead nettle and the dandelion. She loves them. They both have medicinal uses. They're both edible, so I don't spray them, and I don't worry about. I do pull them because I have so much of it, but they keep coming back. So I'm not worried about my dead nettle and my thistle or my dandelion. I'm not worried about that at all. Look at that cutie little broccoli head. I want to showcase this one because this was the first one that put off a broccoli head. And look, it's already even kind of starting to not be a tight broccoli head. That was my first one though. And then here I have my cabbages and some weeds. But I have my cabbages, and my cauliflower is really starting to take off. I have 5 cauliflower. I really need to weed this bed. I didn't realize how bad it was. And then more cabbages over there. And then, oh, I saw that hole. I'm like, oh my god, somebody's been digging. No, so there's a cabbage, but right there I just put a zucchini. I got 4 zucchini, and I didn't know where to put them, so I stuck one there because I had a little opening. And then let's see if we can find a kohlrabi. I have a kohlrabi there, and right there is another kohlrabi. I have one right there. Oh, and I have one right there. I have a little one you can see right there. So they're coming. As the broccoli grows, it'll get a long stalk on it, so it'll like lift it up so the leaves aren't like all touching each other. My thought though too is I'm thinking about putting my sweet potatoes in these rows, because by the time the broccoli is done in June, the sweet potatoes will just be taken over, and then I'm gonna have the sweet potatoes take over this whole space. We're considering that. We don't know how we feel about that. I had the plan, so I gotta put them somewhere, and I don't really know where I'm putting them. The only other place I could put them is along this fence row. I have cardboard down right now, trying to kill some thistle. But I kind of want to put beans here. But I don't know if I'm gonna get that done. I have the fence in, I don't have the posts. I need to go get more posts, and I don't know that I'm gonna actively do that. But we'll see. So they could go here too. But I have 2 potatoes that I have to get planted, and then I just got, because I wanted to try and see what I thought about pumpkins. So right here I got a pumpkin. I got 2 pumpkins right here. So I meant not pumpkins. What are they? They're watermelons. I need to plant the pumpkins. The pumpkins are still up at the house. I got 2 watermelons are on this side of the arch and 2 cantaloupes on that side of the arch. And on the arch, I have a wisteria. So a couple years ago, I got my mom a wisteria. It's gorgeous. And the space she has it on is honestly much too small for wisteria. So it's just growing like gangbusters, and we keep having to trim it. So this spring, we trimmed a whole bunch. I'm like, you know what? I'm going to put it in water, and I'm going to see if it roots. Well, by golly, it has rooted. So I am going to plant it. So I'm letting that one, there's a whole bunch that have the nubs, and the one is set off a nice root. So I'm going to let it get a couple more roots before it gets too hot, and then I'm going to plant it on this arch. So this arch I made last year. I am not a DIY person. She looks terrible. But my thought is I'm going to put a wisteria to grow over her, and you're not going to know that she looks terrible. The wisteria is going to hide it all, and it's just a base for the wisteria. Now, I currently have 1 rocking chair underneath of it right now. My mom wants that rocking chair, so we're actually going to swap out. I'm going to give her that one, and she's going to give me 2 other rocking chairs that she doesn't want anymore. That I'm going to paint up. I'll bring you guys along. We're going to paint them up, and then it's 2 rocking chairs and a little side table that we're going to put over somewhere in that area. So that's exciting. Okay, now we're over by my big old Bessie the cow. Love her. But I really like to showcase her and plant a lot of things around her. So I put in a zinnia, quickly lost a zinnia here. So I just put in down here at her foot, I put in a cherry tomato. I don't know. It's the golden cherry tomato. So I have a golden cherry tomato here, and then by my pepper bed I have and I'll show you, I have a red cherry tomato. But then also right in front of here, I have a ton of volunteer sunflowers. So this has been the year of the volunteers. So all of these are sunflowers. I don't even really know how they got here because I didn't have sunflowers here last year. But I am going to let them go. And then what I'm excited for is they are 100% in the path. But they will look nice from a distance around the cow. So I'm excited for them. And then over here, now we're saying that my potato bed, right down here, I planted a dahlia bulb. And I just planted it, and it's already putting off a leaf, so that's great. And then here I have another zucchini. And then if we look up into our potato bed, a couple grasses, but all that green that you see in the bed, not right there, but all of this green are my potatoes. So the potatoes are starting to come up. So these are all the potatoes. Look how great they look. And then, so take a good look about what these look like. A whole bunch over here. They still keep coming up. Every day more pop up, but let's keep going. Let's keep looking. We're in the onion bed. That is a very nice potato. Right there is a potato. And then look over here. potato, 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 potato. So far, those are the volunteers that we have. So potatoes is one of those things, when you plant one, you typically have it forever. So I love to get potato volunteers. This bed over here was the potato bed for last year. However, in this aisle where there's randomly potatoes grown in the mulch, that was my potato bed from 2 years ago. And so that is still potatoes that if you leave just a portion of a potato behind, it'll grow a new plant and it'll set off fruit. So I leave all of my volunteer potatoes because I want all the potatoes that I can get. And then especially if some of those holes in the main potato bed don't fill in, maybe those potatoes don't grow, we have free ones that would like make up for that. So I do really like to have all of the volunteer plants that I can get. Now, the plan is for this space to plant my corn. The corn can go in now. I don't know when that's on my list to do. It's on my list. I just don't know when. So I'm hoping that I can get the corn planted this year. What I need to do is I need to pull all of this straw back. I have a big holly bush in there. I got to take off that plywood and really cut him down. I need a chainsaw to do that. So I got to do some work in this space. My hope is that I could 100% get my corn planted in this space. This is good ground that I 100% don't want to let go to waste. I thought about putting my sweet potatoes here, but I do think it's fun to grow corn. And last year I spent $8 on a pack of corn and didn't even use a quarter of it. So I'm like, that corn's not going to last. Have it. It's free food at this point. I already paid for it. So I can either let it go bad or I can at least try to grow something. So we're going to do everything in our power to get this space cleared out. What's funny is I feel like I'm ahead of the curve. I didn't travel this year. Like I always travel for a week in April and a week in May. I'm actually supposed to be gone this week. But our traveling got canceled this year. So I had technically 2 extra weeks to work out here. And I think I'm ahead, right? I think I have a lot of things in the ground. Almost all my beds are planted. You know, we're growing a lot of food right now. And it's only like May 6th. But I still feel like this corn should be done, or I feel like I should be doing it this weekend, and it's not in the plan. So I really struggle with trying to get everything done, and then like the grass needs mowed, everything needs trimmed. I have ivy going or some sort of vine growing up the garage. Like there is so much work to do, and my priority right now is honestly just to get everything planted, and then once everything's planted, then I can kind of shift my focus. But I'm gonna be completely honest. The garden is my priority, so that is what takes all of my time and all of my attention. If I can get to other things, I do. This is my passion. This is my priority, and this feeds me. It's not just like, oh, it's fun to do. It genuinely feeds me. So it ranks pretty high on my list of things I like to do. I got a fun plant this year. This guy. This is an artichoke. I have never grown an artichoke before, and I'm not even sure that I like artichokes. But I saw him at the nursery, and I'd never seen one before, and I was like, you know what? Let's buy an artichoke plant. So I bought one. I hope I don't need 2 for it to give me an artichoke, but I bought one, and I am so excited for this plant. So I got him in the ground. He keeps falling over. He's been out of the ground where I bought him 4 days ago, and he keeps falling over, and then if he's over for a couple of hours, he starts growing. So he has a little S turn in him. We got to get him to straighten back up. But I'm so excited for him. This bed from this corn on is my potatoes. From here over, and then this entire bed beside it, this is all going to be peppers. So this is a new bed that I have to fill. I needed to make 2 new beds because they rotted. And so my dad and I measured, and we ended up changing the proportions of one of the beds and gave ourselves extra wood. So we threw together this extra bed, and I threw that here. So I think this is going to work out well to give me, I did honestly need another space, another bed for my like peppers and tomatoes that rotate. So this is going to work really nice, I think, as an additional raised bed. So here over is going to be my peppers minus my artichoke. And then right here is my red cherry tomato. Last year my cherry tomatoes grew together, and it worked out well. I got a ton of cherry tomatoes, but it definitely got a little frazzled. And so I do expect this to get a little frazzled with the peppers. But I like it, it's a little bit separate. I just want to tuck stuff some places. So I have this tomato here, and I'm excited for him. Now here is my main tomato row, and my tomatoes are largely doing okay. This one I'm actually at right here is not doing well. He's getting a little eaten, but the rest of them are actually doing pretty good. So I'll bring you down and I'll scan you close to them. But then I also have some volunteer beans coming up. I have a ton of volunteer morning glories. They're a vine that I get down here that just takes over. So I try to pull as many of those as I see. So I have this volunteer bean down here. So far, I think it's the only one I see over here. In my onion bed, oh, I can't get up, I'm stuck. In my onion bed, I have another volunteer bean. So again, they're gonna get leggy, but I love volunteers, so I'm gonna let it grow. The tomatoes are largely looking pretty well. There's my volunteer bean, and then there's one that doesn't look great, but the rest of them, so he might get replaced. There's another one, not looking bad, but could be better. And then back there, I have one. And then here, I have a huge yellow or white hollyhock. And then back here, I have two big feverfew plants. So I love how shrubby this is getting. I see some vines growing. I gotta pull them, but this is gorgeous. And this puts off little white flowers, and this is a great medicinal herb. So I'm really excited to have that here. So when those bloom and they're setting off their flowers, that's gonna be really pretty. I also have this black hollyhock, and he is getting ready to bloom. And I have these baby black hollyhocks absolutely everywhere. So I need to dig up some for my mom. Take for my mom. Right there in my red onion bed is another black hollyhock. My red onion bed is doing okay. These took forever to root, but you can see now that they have, and they're starting to grow. I don't even know I've never seen one do this. I don't know what to do with this. He's starting to grow out of this shell. I wonder if I should take that off. I ended up breaking it. But we'll see if that keeps growing. I don't think it would have grown like that, but we'll never know now. But the onions are growing. These are my red onions. And they are growing. And then, sticking with our onions, the white onions are here. And they look wonderful. Then in this bed, I have a couple of carrots. So this is a carrot. And then over there, I have a little carrot coming. And then here we have another bean. Got a couple other volunteers in there. And then in this bed, which needs weeded, I ended up putting my zinnia. So this is the new bed. It needed dirt, but I don't have a lot of money for dirt. So I'm just we're just going to plant zinnias in it this year, and I'll refill it either the end. There's another baby hollyhock. And I'll refill it either at the end of the season or next season. But our peas, these are snow peas, and they are doing wonderful. They're doing great. They're getting nice and big. So they're looking really good. I need to bring out more clips and start clipping. But so this bed, I think is going to be pretty. So the hollyhock, that's nice and big behind it. And then the peas, these are snow peas. Then zinnias in the front will look nice and bushy. And then right in the front, I think I want to put some marigolds to help hide the fact that this bed isn't full. Don't have all the money to do all the things. So we do the best we can. So I just laid some straw trying to keep some of the weeds down. So that's why there's straw in a lot of these beds. But here's my beet bed. And the beet bed did great things. So we can see here we have a cluster of beets here. I have a cluster of beets there. This is definitely the low points of this bed. There is beets throughout the whole thing, but definitely not as prevalent as these spots. So I did take some beets and try to transplant them out into this space here. And so we'll see if they grow. Technically, I should be pulling these beets because they will not grow this close together. Like they won't grow that close together. So I need to pull. While it looks cool now, these plants will not grow like this. So I need to come out here and make the hard decisions and start pulling. So we'll see what we get, but this is a nice full bed. We'll see how many beets we actually get. So we come to this bed, and I have my Brussels sprouts here, and then this is a carrot from last year that I'm planning just letting go to see what happens. I did plant carrots in here. As you can see, this is weeds and no carrots. But in here, I have my snap peas, my sugar snap peas, and they did not grow. Like, this is all they're doing. So I don't know if I'm going to have sugar snap peas this year. And that is wildly upsetting. I'm very against this. I love sugar snap peas, so I don't know how to not have sugar snap peas. At least we have we'll have the snow peas, but I don't like not having sugar snaps. And then in here is my strawberry bed, and it is loaded with flowers. So this bed has just been exploding with flowers. I'm so excited. So the flowers are actually what gives you the fruit. So I'm thinking, as long as I have flowers, I'm going to have fruit. And if I have a fruit for as many flowers as I have, and this is kind of the second blush of flowers, if I have as many strawberries as I have blossoms, we are going to be rolling in strawberries this year. So that is going to be so exciting. And then this year, I wanted to buy a new blueberry plant. So I had this one from last year, and I had two of them. One died. And so my birthday, I treated myself to two blueberry plants. So this one is a blueberry legacy. And then this one is a hybrid blueberry sweet. So this hybrid apparently gives you two blushes of blueberries. You get one in the spring and then you get one in the fall. So I was like, if I get 2 rounds of blueberries, I'll take it. So the strawberries are doing really good. The only thing I didn't show you was the kale and the asparagus. I have a couple of other zucchinis popped around here too, but they're just small still. But my kale is looking really good, and our cattail in our pond is doing great. And then our asparagus is giving us a ton of asparagus. I've let plenty go to seed. I always get nervous I'm not going to let enough go to seed, and I'm not going to have asparagus next year. But we're letting it go to seed. Oh my gosh, look at this. Look at that guy. We're going to take you. You always want to make sure you leave some go to seed so that you have asparagus next year. Look at that guy. He's nice and big. So here's my green bean trellis. And what I typically do is I just take beans that I've left on. Oops, hold on. I take beans that I left on the arch and I just drop them in the ground. So I planted, I think, 4 beans over there, 4 beans over there, and we'll see what comes up. We'll see what grows. I'm hoping they grow. Last year I had a real big issue with something eating them every time they popped up. So as soon as they pop up this year, I'm going to like put a cage around them until they get onto the trellis. And then here we have my beautiful flower row in front of the garden. I swapped out, I used to have, where are they? Those containers right there on either side of my garden fence. Didn't like them. So I had these pots already. They were over in the flower garden area. I moved them and I put zinnias and cosmos in each one. And this guy is blooming. And then can we just talk about this iris row for a second? Isn't it stunning? My neighbor decided to start mowing. So I think we're almost done with this video, but that might help us wrap it up a little bit quicker. But I want to bring you over here and show you the flower garden, the flower farm is starting to get planted. So in this phase here, I have my snapdragons. I had to buy some new ones. That is the only one that overwintered. But I bought some really pretty different colors. I didn't have this many colors, so I'm excited for these colors. And then I like this asparagus as a pointer. It's nice. Two Lysianthus. And then when I was planting this, I had a big ant hill in this space that I disturbed. So I don't know if I still have them or not. But I need to figure out something to put into this space. So this space is still open. I don't know what I'm going to put there. Down here we have another volunteer sunflower. And then over there is going to be more sunflowers there. And then in this bed here is going to be sunflowers. They're going to get planted out probably next weekend as well with the peppers and hopefully the corn. And then in this bed here, I have a lot of straw flowers. All this lime green is straw flowers. This is Gomphrena, purple Gomphrena, which I'm really excited about. And then I have a really pretty poppy over here. This is called the Fallen in Love poppy. So I'm really excited for that. I think that's going to be really pretty. And then this space is a hot mess. One of the spaces, there's lots of spaces that need work on. This is one of them. But we have a lot of mint in this space. A lot of weeds, but a lot of mint. He doesn't see me yet. He sees me, he will come. And then lemon balm right there. So I'm hoping the lemon balm takes over this space, and the mint is really kind of starting to take over this space. So I'm hoping it starts to kind of choke out some of these weeds. And the fire pit that needs a new home on this property somewhere. I want everything to look perfect all the time, 100%, and there's just not enough time in the day. And this mess is a fig tree that I planted last fall, and something started eating it like over winter, but I don't know if it's alive or not. So I'm giving that some time before I take this down and then mill the whole thing down and call it dead. But I'm hoping that's alive. And one thing that definitely is alive is this blackberry bush. It's so pretty, but I didn't want this here. I planted a lilac, not lilac, what is it called? What is this called? Hydrangea, limelight hydrangea here. And it is being taken over, by the very sharp blackberry. So because the blackberry is as big as it is, I've decided I'm going to let it go. The reason I don't want the blackberry, I love the blackberry. The reason I don't want it is because I never get the berries. The freaking birds always get them. So last year, my big blueberry plant by the house was covered in blueberries. I waited all summer for those blueberries. I was going to make a pie. I was so excited. And then wouldn't you know it, the day the blueberries, like the day before the blueberries were ready to go, it disappeared. So that's what happens with my blackberries. The blackberries always disappear. Ooh, he found me. It took you long enough. That is Nero, and he does not like me in my own yard. But that's okay. So because the blackberries are already gone, I'm not gonna go. I'm gonna give them one more shot, and then I am going to see if I get any. So what I'm gonna do is when they're getting ready to be ready, I'm gonna cover them with net. Don't cover them before because they just grow through the net. I'm gonna wait until they're ready, and then I'm gonna try to do some sort of contraption to cover them and my blueberries so that I get the fruit. Here's more of a mess. All of this needs ripped off. I just don't have enough time in the day. Okay, now we'll end with the patio garden tour because the patio garden is actually looking pretty terrible. We're at the end of spring, so my spring flowers have died back. However, with spring flowers, you still need to let them, like the greenery, soak up the photosynthesis. I don't think that's the right word. You still need to let the greenery soak up the sun, and then it puts that energy back into the bulb so that next year you have more flowers. So even if the flowers are gone, I don't want to go cut them yet. I'm giving them another week because they are starting to die back, but I'm giving them another week just to continue to soak up all the energy they can before they go dormant. So I'm just going to kind of walk you around. So I'm going to take that with a grain of salt, and we're not going to judge that we're in between the spring and the summer garden. We're not going to judge. Okay, so I have my beautiful Siberian iris, which I didn't know that I even had. So I think I'm going to come out here, I'm going to cut these guys because they're falling down and put them into a vase. So coming over here. Oh, look here. That is a different color bluebell. I wonder why that's a different color. Look. I don't know. So there's some more flowers on that one, so we'll see what happens there. I didn't know I had that. Here's what I'm talking about, all kind of being dead and need to be removed. I have some sedum, my beautiful salvia. Salvia looks great in the early summer. My rose, she needs a heck of a haircut. some shapen, but she's covered in blossom. So how do you disturb her? And then my cypress, not cypress, is this a cypress tree? Okay, no, this is not a cypress tree. What kind of tree is this? I forget what kind of tree this is. I have it tagged right here. I'm blanking on its name. Crepe myrtle. I knew it was a C. So I thought that would come back up here. It's coming up down here. Is that normal? Should I cut these? I don't think I've ever cut this guy before. But he's coming up down here. And I'm pretty sure that is not him because these are two totally different leaves. And this is, yeah, this is a different location. So we'll pull that guy out right away. And then here we have my big, beautiful coreopsis. I have a little hydrangea coming back there. So I'm hoping that this continues to just do beautiful things. This beautiful flower, I don't know the name of it, puts off this all over it. That is on its way out, unfortunately. My spiderwort, though, is all of this. That is on its way in. And then I have some daylilies that, I think those are daffodils, but these are some daylilies here. I have these flowers back here that are starting to come in. So we have a lot of things in here, from fire pokers. We have a lot of things in there. So I'm hoping once I get the spring stuff out of there, it will look better. But we also got the front porch done. Say hi, soy sauce. I got the petunias in all of my towers. I got geraniums and eucalyptus. Let me show you. So I have my petunias in here and a eucalyptus, which I'm hoping is alive. This is an herb that keeps overwintering. This is my lovage. It's like a celery thing, so I need to cut this guy. But that overwinters every year. I have beautiful lavender there. Here we have some petunias and some geraniums. That is not a geranium, but geraniums. This was a tulip that I was hoping was going to bloom, and it did not, so we can get rid of that. And then back here, I have petunias and geraniums and some eucalyptus. I'll be excited for that when that blooms. And then this pretty petunia pot. And then all of these petunias are volunteer petunias. These are just seeded from last year, so I let these go. And then I had more volunteers that I put into this bed over here. So we have some weeds. This is my blueberry, my main blueberry. And we definitely have some weeds, but I transplanted the petunias in here too. That's the main blueberry. And then here, there's so much going on in here, but again, there's so much green. You're like, is this weeds? Is this not? What is this? So my alliums bloomed, and they looked gorgeous. I was waiting for the spiderwort to bloom so I could show you the spiderwort and the alliums at the same time, and was not successful. But they are just the coolest flower. And so then in here I have my asparagus. I need to move this patch because this patch never produces for me. It didn't produce a single edible head this year, or edible asparagus this year. This one gave me a good batch. I see a couple in there I could pick. This one gave me a good batch. But then in here, my main sage died back, but it transplanted itself over there. It transplanted itself way back there, and I think I even have another one. Oh yeah, I have another sage over here. So I need to move some. Oh, and I have some there. So my sage definitely transplanted itself. I was sad that the main head died because it gives. I was sad the main sage head died because it gives off these really pretty purple flowers. In the spring, they're gorgeous. Members love them. But I'm glad that it at least moved itself. So I just need to figure out, once my asparagus is done, I need to figure out how to get that big sage root out of there and get some of these transplanted. But in here, it's really hard to see. We have irises, I have cosmos, I have zinnias, I have mums, lilies, all all of the things. This is filled with bulbs and flowers. So I'm really excited to see this continue to grow. Right now it just looks messy, but I'm hoping as summer comes and the summer flowers come, that this space really looks beautiful. I worked really hard on this space last year to hopefully have summer flowers. In the spring it looks fantastic, but I really want it to look fantastic in the summer. So my phone is about to die. We're not working with great conditions. I have a barking dog, landscaping neighbor. So we're gonna go ahead and call this garden tour the first garden tour of the season. I'm gonna call it a day. I showed you just about everything, um, but at least you know where we're starting from, so you can stay with me as things grow. Thanks for hanging out with me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye, friends.